Hello and welcome to SubVentures. My name is James Gilmore. I'm the Director of Operations for the company. And on behalf of the leadership and the owners of SubVentures, I want to welcome you to the team. We'd like to take a quick second to give you some information about the history of SubVentures. SubVentures started about 20 years ago with only 6 stores in the state of Arkansas. By believing in our mission statement, which we're going to cover today, we were successfully able to grow over 30 stores across 2 states. We're now in Missouri and Arkansas. You'll be proud that you're joining a company that values people, progress, and personal service. Today, we're going to go through our basic policies and procedures now that you've completed your online paperwork and you've been given a packet from your store manager, and we're going to cover everything that's inside of that packet. Before we get into those policies and procedures, I want to talk a little bit more about the people part of SubVentures. To explain our background, I want to cover our mission statement. The mission statement was crafted by the owner and franchisee of Subway, Russell Rogers, 20 years ago because he had a clear vision of what he wanted the company to look like. Please feel free at this time to take out your welcome letter outside of your packet and follow along as we go through the company's mission statement. SubVentures' mission statement is to provide customers great value through fresh, great tasting, made-to-order food, and an exceptional in-store experience that makes them want to come back. Now that you've joined a team of over 300 people, we're going to cover how you can provide that great, exceptional in-store experience that makes them want to come back.
Welcome to Subway's Create Great Together Guest Engagement Series.
This lesson is designed to help you, the sandwich artists, effectively engage our guests, raise their brand experience, and encourage their return.
At Subway, guest service should never be stale. We should always strive to create a fresh experience for everyone that walks through our restaurant. Remember, you are the face of a global brand. Hi, I'm Valerie, and that's Juan, and that's Audra, and we'll be your instructors today. Let's get started.
By the end of this lesson, you will be able to 1. Greet guests directly with warmth, respect, and gratitude. 2. Listen intently to guests' menu choices. And 3. Reinforce guests' orders.
When you've been a guest and entered a business, have you ever been greeted by one person and felt like an employee cared about you and about earning your business? Have you ever had a poor guest experience, voiced your concern, and felt heard by an entire company? Have you ever felt that your purchases were met with a positive attitude, like the salesperson was appreciative that you purchased from them? Have you ever returned to a brand simply because one person stood out and delivered exceptional guest service?
You're instrumental in getting our guests to return to your restaurant. Make each engagement count. Leave a lasting impression so that they tell their friends and family how great their experience is at their local Subway restaurant.
And after this lesson, we'll ask you a few quick questions about our 3 scenarios and make sure you're ready to effectively engage your next guest.
Let's begin our day from the guest point of view and start with an improper greeting example. It is important to learn what not to do.
Hey, how are you? The guest was greeted within seconds, but the greeting was a little too familiar. When our greeting is unprofessional and open-ended, it sends the wrong message. When a greeting goes well, the guest feels as if they have to keep a positive conversation going. Let's try it again. Thanks for choosing Subway. What can I make for you today? Notice how I connect my greeting with our purpose and why we're here.
Hey, I'll take a foot-long Subway club on Italian bread, please.
A great sandwich artist properly greets our guests, but also understands why they're here and that they may be in a hurry.
It's important that we experience every engagement through our guests' eyes. Be warm, respectful, and grateful that they chose us. Hey, how are ya? Seems okay, but the message is confusing and unrelated to their purpose. Use a caring tone that promotes confidence and comfort, and speed is especially important too.
Even if you're busy, let the guests order at their own pace. Our patience will enhance their experience and help them think of us the next time they're hungry.
What is said and unsaid is equally important. Your appearance sends the first and loudest message to the guest. Are you clean, neat, and organized? Is your uniform clean, neat, and organized? Now let's resume our training, picking up where we left off with an appropriate greeting. Then we'll look at what not to do when listening to an order.
Thanks for choosing Subway. What can I make for you today?
Can I have a foot-long Subway club on Italian bread, please?
What kind of cheese?
Pepper jack. But could I get it on Italian bread instead of wheat?
6-inch, right? What kind of cheese?
Pepper jack.
You said wheat, right? Heated tuna? Extra olives? You got it.
Okay, so that wasn't the best experience. Remember, if you're unsure what the guest ordered, just politely ask they repeat it.
Could I get lettuce, green peppers, and could I get tomatoes, please?
So you'd like lettuce, green peppers, and tomatoes.
Yes, thank you.
When we listen and deliver the proper sandwich, the guest feels as if they're being heard and they'll trust your suggestions more.
This would go great with our chicken noodle soup. Would you like to give it a try? You may need something sweet after this great sandwich. How's a fresh baked cookie sound?
Sounds good. I'll try it.
Now that we've greeted the guest properly and confirmed their order, let's resume our training, picking up where we left off, but let's start with, you guessed it, how not to reinforce a guest's order.
Okay, so you'd like lettuce, green peppers, and tomatoes.
You got it.
Green peppers on a Subway club, huh? That's interesting. Have you ever tried green peppers and tomatoes together? Ugh.
Yikes. Everything was going great at first, but why would the guest even want to eat the sandwich now? A sandwich may not be your particular taste, but we all have our own preferences. The beauty of Subway is that we have millions of combinations to choose from, and you might be surprised. A guest might try a new combination that sounds good to you too.
Can I have a foot-long Subway club on Italian bread, please?
A foot-long Subway club on Italian. Great choice. When we reinforce guest choices, we build confidence in our product and anticipation. The guest feels as if they've made the right choice. Let's listen to some other positive reinforcement statements. That looks delicious. One of my personal favorites. Ooh, I'll have to try that myself.
Now that we've greeted the guest, listened to their order, and properly made their sandwich, we should be confident that they will return to see us soon.
You're now able to 1. Greet guests directly with warmth, respect, and gratitude. 2. Listen intently to guests' menu choices. 3. Reinforce guest orders.
When engaging our guests, we must greet them properly, listen intently, and reinforce their order with confidence. How they feel when they leave determines if they will return.
By every piece of meat that you slice fresh, by every veggie that you slice, from every bread that you bake, from the smiles that you'll make, and from the thank yous that you'll give to the guest, you're going to help us give that in-store experience. You're going to learn more about those day-to-day operations as you go through your University of Subway sandwich artistry training. Now, we're going to go ahead and cover our policies and procedures. You may now take out your checklist because we're going to cover everything that you sign through your online orientation packet. Now that we've covered the people part of Subventures, let's cover the policies part of Subventures. Included in your new hire packet, you were issued your own custom employee handbook, along with your checklist for the policies and procedures that we're going to cover today. Take out your summary of the policies and procedures, and you're going to initial off as we go through each one. Just so I don't forget myself, I'm going to keep this list handy, and we're going to go through this together. Now that you have your copy of the employee handbook checklist, follow along with me line by line as we cover each policy and procedure that's outlined in your employee handbook that you're receiving your personalized copy of today. To start, we're going to cover the mission statement. The mission statement we just covered earlier, but say it with me just to ensure that you have it down. To provide great value through fresh, great tasting, made to order food, and an exceptional in-store experience that makes them want to come back. The next policy and procedure on your checklist is the employment at will. At any time, you reserve the right to terminate your employment with Subventures, and during your probationary period for the next 90 days, Subventures reserves the right to terminate employment without cause, or with cause from the policies and procedures that we're going to cover today. The next policy that we're going to cover is the Equal Employment Opportunity. Subventures prohibits discrimination or harassment of any kind based on race, color, creed, sexual orientation, or any other class that is protected under the Civil Rights Title V Act. The next policy, harassment and retaliation. Subventures has zero tolerance for harassment or retaliation. Included in your employee handbook at the last page is a anonymous complaint hotline that you can call to report if you feel that you've been harassed from your supervisor, team member, or a vendor or a customer. That number is completely anonymous and it automatically goes to the owner of Subventures. Those claims are then investigated through a third-party HR service, and anything that is gathered during that investigation will be kept anonymous so you are not mentioned and it will be handled properly. Attendance and punctuality is the next topic that we're going to cover. You must report to work as scheduled. There will be several ways that you'll receive your schedule. You will receive it via the Subway Live IQ app, posted in a common space inside of your location, or your store manager may engage in text messaging using the GroupMe app for your schedule to be posted. Please check with your store manager for the agreed upon location of where your schedule will be posted. Now we're going to cover the employee meal policy. As a Subventures team member, you are entitled to one free 6-inch per shift as long as your shift is 3 hours or more, with 1 meal per day. There is an approved list of sandwiches that contain all of the subs that you may have for free. Please ensure you locate that list of approved employee meals at your store, and please ask your manager where it is to ensure that you follow the policy. In addition, any of those sandwiches you may have either as a salad or as the pizza variety. When in season, you may also have a cup of soup in lieu of your free 6-inch sandwich. Again, the most important part to remember about this policy is 1 6-inch per day. Now we're going to move on to our uniform and appearance policy. Our uniform and appearance policy is to ensure that we are consistent at each one of our locations. However, it does allow for variety and personality. You may wear either blue, black, or khaki pants or shorts. In addition, you're being issued today 2 Subway logo shirts, 1 hat, 1 apron, and a name tag. The name tags, you may go ahead and customize and show your personality by writing your name on it. You must report to your shift in these components. On screen, you'll see pictured the proper uniform attire that you should be in when you clock in. Furthermore, we're going to cover our personal appearance policy in conjunction with your local health code. Regarding the appearance part of the uniform policy, we have to follow certain rules to comply with health code. To start, for both Arkansas and Missouri, we may not wear any wrist items. Those are items such as watches, bracelets, or smartwatches. However, if you have an approved medical bracelet, you may wear that. Furthermore, necklaces and chains are not allowed during your clocked-in shift. All tattoos that are on your arms must be covered. Furthermore, for studs and piercings, the policy is as such. If you have a nose ring, it must be a stud. The stud must either be black or clear. If you have ear gauges, they cannot be larger than the size of a dime, and they must be black or clear. Furthermore, during your clocked in shift, you may not wear any dangling or hooped earrings. Only studs are allowed while clocked in. Furthermore, you may have up to 3 studs per ear. Fingernails. While we know they express personality, they must be natural color and not contain any fingernail polish while on the shift. Fake fingernails are not allowed as these can become a physical contaminant to the food. Tongue piercings must be removed while you're working on shift. Tongue piercings produce excessive amount of saliva and can become a biological contaminant to the food that we serve. If you have any further questions regarding our uniform and or appearance policy, please consult your store manager. Now we're going to cover our timekeeping policy. Our timekeeping policy is pretty simple. For any service or work that you're performing for subventures, you must be clocked in. Please ask your manager the official clock-in procedures on your POS at your location. Now we're going to cover our next policy, our break schedule. As a team member, you are entitled to the following break policy that will be pictured on screen. For team members that work between 0 and 3 hours, at this time, there is no guaranteed break. For team members working more than 3 hours, up to 6 hours, you may take a 20-minute unpaid break. Please ensure that you clock out. For team members that work more than 6 hours, but less than 9, you may take up to a 30-minute unpaid break. Please ensure that you clock out. And in the event that you are working 10 or more hours, you may have 1 hour break. Please note that you may have any combination of breaks as long as the total does not exceed 1 hour, but you must clock out for a minimum of 20 minutes. As an example, you may take 3 20-minute breaks, but you cannot take a 30-minute break and then 3 10-minute breaks. The minimum break time has to be 20 minutes. Breaks are given depending upon the business needs. What does that mean? If it's extremely busy, there is a slight chance that we may forego breaks. However, we will make reasonable accommodation to ensure that you can enjoy your employee meal. The next policy that we're going to cover is the most important part of any job, payday and the pay schedule. As a team member of Subventures, we are paid on a bi-weekly basis. Furthermore, our official payday is Thursday. Depending on the way that you elected for your paychecks to be deposited, either our pay card or direct deposit to your bank account, you may be paid up to 2 business days sooner. However, before making any official inquiries, please ensure that you wait until Thursday to make those of a pay week. In addition, you may check your paycheck stubs via the ADP Employee Self-Service app. Instructions are included in your hiring packet as well as in your employee handbook. If you need assistance in setting up this app, please ask your store manager. The next policy that we're going to cover is going to be our drug and alcohol policy. Subventures has 0 tolerance for working under the influence or possessing drugs on company property. This includes the parking lot and dumpster areas. The next policy that we're going to cover is going to be the medical marijuana policy. At this time, Subventures remains a drug-free workplace. However, if you do possess a medical marijuana card, please bring this to the attention of your store manager for all of the policies and procedures concerning having a card. Please note that at any time while clocked in, you may not use medical marijuana. The next policy and procedure that we're going to cover is something of a serious nature. It is our scam and fraud awareness policy. In the recent years, there has been an uptick in scams usually involved an urgent message for you to take money out of the store and to either purchase a gift card and give that gift card number to someone over the phone. Please be aware you are not to remove any money from the store at any time to purchase a gift card and give that information over the phone. Every day, you will have a call that comes to the store that states that the owner, Russell Rogers, has been arrested and is in the custody of the Marshal's Department. You will have attempts of people impersonating utility companies stating that they are going to turn off the lights or the water at the location if you do not remove money from the register and purchase a gift card. These scams come in all different forms and they evolve every day. The one thing to remember about scams and identifying if it's a scam, it always creates a need of urgency to remove money from the store. Please understand, at any time, we do not remove money from the store. I know I've said that phrase several times here, but we want to ensure that no money is removed from the store for any reason, especially if it involves purchasing a gift card or sending money to someone that you have never met. Furthermore, Russell Rogers will never call the store and ask you to take money out of the top or bottom safe for any reason. If the light bill has not been paid, it is okay. The lights will be turned off, but on your part, you are not to remove any money to go to Walmart, to the dollar store, or any other vendor to send money on an urgent basis. Please note that failure to follow this policy can and will result in payroll deduction. The next policy and procedure is one of the most important, the cash handling policy. As a team member of SubVentures, you are responsible for the money inside of your drawer whenever you are assigned to the register. Your store manager will explain a process called cash-ins that must be conducted before you take over a register, whenever you are relieving the register, and this process is also conducted at opening shift and at closing time to properly account for the money in the register drawer. Please note that any cash shortages that exceed $2.50 on a daily basis is subject to payroll deduction. To ensure that you are not held responsible for money that you did not account for, please ensure that you follow the cash-in policy. The next policy that we're going to cover is social media and our cell phone policy. At this time, the social media policy summary is as follows. Technically, you can post whatever you would like about your employer. However, please note, Subway Corporate does not allow any pictures of behind the line, the recipe cards, or any build charts in the back of the house. Trust us, we will have plenty of activities that allow you to engage in your creative process or creating TikToks, but at this time, do not post anything that is behind the line or out of guest perspective. Furthermore, the official company policy for cell phone usage is as follows. You may not have your cell phone on during your clocked-in shift. The next policy that we're going to review is our confidentiality policy. As a team member of Subway, you will be exposed to trade secrets of Subway Corporate. Please, again, do not take any pictures of any recipe cards, formulas, or give out any information that you will be privy to during your employment with SubVentures. This includes future promotions, future items, test items, or anything that gives Subway a competitive edge. Violation of this policy can and will result in disciplinary action up to and including termination. The next policy and procedure that we're going to cover is going to be our health and safety policy. As a team member of Subventures, you are working in a food preparation environment. Posted at your location are symptoms and conditions that you must report to your manager. These are health code requirements, and exhibiting some of those symptoms may deem the need for us to exclude you from the operation. If you are experiencing a fever, nauseousness, diarrhea, please contact your manager prior to reporting to your shift. Additionally, if you are injured while on the clock conducting a work-approved task, please report it to your manager immediately. You are protected through our insurance, and we need to open a claim for you to receive the proper medical care. Again, if you are injured on shift while clocked in, please report it to your manager as soon as possible. The next policy that we're going to cover is our workplace violence and bullying. Subventures has zero tolerance for threats, intimidation, or harassment. Even if you are trying to make a joke, or even if you have an overfamiliar relationship with a team member, please keep all threats and jokes outside of the workplace. Violation of this policy will result in immediate suspension and investigated by our HR service. And if deemed necessary, it can result in disciplinary action, including and up to termination. The next policy that we're going to cover is our customer service standards. As a team member of Subventures, you were hired because you have a personality. Our expectation is for you to engage in honest, authentic relationships with your customers, greeting them with a smile, saying thank you at the end of the transaction, and giving them a sincere invite to come back and see us the next day. Please ensure that you follow our customer service policies, and you're going to learn more about how to give great customer service in your Sandwich Artistry University of Subway training. The next policy and procedure that we're going to cover today is the employee complaint procedure. As a team member of Subventures, we maintain an open door policy, meaning that you may talk to anybody about any complaint that you have with a team member or supervisor, vendor, or customer. In the event that you do not feel comfortable enough to talk to your immediate supervisor regarding a complaint, you may flip to the last page of your employee handbook for a phone number to call to report your claim anonymously. Please note that all complaints submitted via the hotline are first recorded in-house internally with that third-party complaint department. Then they are forwarded to the owner, Russell Rogers of Subventures, and then it is investigated. The next policy and procedure that we're going to cover today are performance reviews. From time to time, your manager will conduct periodic reviews about your performance. This is centered to give you encouragement and feedback on how you can improve and what you're doing great. Please ask your manager for reviews if you've been employed with us for longer than 90 days or at any time that you're just wanting feedback on how you are doing. Our final policy and procedure is going to be the employee separation policy. We know that sometimes good things do have to come to an end, and there may be a time where your employment with Subventures will cease. At that time, we encourage you to call our home office at area code 479-268-4372 and select the option for payroll to make arrangements for your last paycheck. Your last paycheck will not be direct deposited. We must mail it to you, or you must arrange a pickup time at our home office in Bentonville, Arkansas to receive your final paycheck. Now that we've covered all of the basic and most important policies and procedures via your checklist, please ensure that you review your employee handbook. You are being provided a printed copy, and furthermore, you have received a digital copy in your email after completing your virtual online documentation. If you have any further questions or comments, please ask your store manager or feel free to call the home office at area code 479-268-4372 and select the option for Human Resources. In closing, getting hired at Subventure isn't an easy task. We only onboard those who we feel are committed to living our mission statement on a daily basis. Now that we've covered all of our basic policies and procedures, let's get out there in the stores and let's make sure that we live our commitment to providing an exceptional in-store experience that makes the customer want to come back. Thank you, and we'll see you in the field.